These people were deported and assimilated. They became a country for 2 years and then were imprisoned for being patriotic. This is the country of Lemkiyushchina. So the Lemkos forged their identity sometime between the 16th and the 19th century, and they've been under occupation by Russia, Austria-Hungary, Ukraine, and most recently Poland. There's also some of this in parts of Ukraine and Slovakia as well, but most of it's in Poland, and that's the area we're checking out today. Now we're in a place called Laczny, and seeing all the churches here, they're all Lemko style. They're just like made out of wood and all have a pretty similar architecture. So the Lemko language is also another typical Slavic language. It's considered to be the westernmost Ukrainian language, and there's like a lot of different dialects within Ukraine where people from different parts of the country speak different languages. So Lemko is considered the most western Ukrainian language, but it also has some similarities with Polish and Slovakian words as well. But definitely the most similar language is Ukrainian. What's cool is a lot of the street signs here are written in Lemko too, under the Polish writing. They use the same alphabet as they do in Ukraine. Every year, a bunch of Lemkos get together and have a huge festival, which is called the Lemko Vatra, and it happens in a city called Zdynia in late July. They just have a bunch of food, just drinks, and just embrace the culture, sing a bunch of songs, a weekend just to have a good time and embrace the Lemko culture here and keep it alive as much as possible. After World War I ended, a lot of nations were trying to become countries. The Lemkos took advantage of this and created their own country called the Comanche Republic. It lasted less than 2 years, and it ended because of the Polish-Ukrainian War in 1918. They wanted to create a country that had ties with Western Ukraine. After that, the Lemkos still tried to become a country, and they knew that they had to get to the Paris Peace Conference to have any shot at this, but all their attempts were stopped by the Polish government. After that, also, they created a country called Lemkiyushchina just by themselves to show that they were able to govern themselves and all take care of themselves and kind of be their own country. But unfortunately, in 1920, the Treaty of Saint-Germain gave Lemkiyushchina to Poland. Because of that, this gave the Polish government the right to send them all to war since they were now Polish citizens. Any resistance was met with jail time, so shortly after, all Lemko leaders eventually were in prison. Now we went to a place called Wysowa Zdrój, which has a lot of mineral water that comes from the ground, and it's just all has a lot of healing properties for you. There's no entry fee to get in here, but it does cost 2 zloty to get yourself some of the mineral water. So we tried 2 of them. The first one was Henrik, and the second one was Anna. And Anna is like by far a much more intense one, so give that one a try. Now we went back to try the most intense one, Franciszek. Basically just as intense as Anna. Those 2 are pretty metally.
It tastes like farts.
It's a very fun and interesting experience here, just trying all these waters. They are apparently really healthy for you. Each one is kind of different. Some of them help with lowering blood pressure. Others just like help with digestion. Each one kind of has its own different health benefits. In 1939, there were about 140,000 Lemkos living in Lemkiyushchina, but after World War II, about 90,000 of them were transported by the Soviet army somewhere to the Soviet Union, and they never returned, and to this day no one actually knows what happened to them. More than half of the population was basically just eliminated. After the war, the Lemkos were part of something that's considered the biggest shift in their history, and that is an operation called Operation Vistula, where they were moved from their region in the Tatra Mountains and moved towards Western Poland, which was done in an attempt to make them not join the Ukrainian army and rebel against the Soviets. This involved about 35,000 Lemkos, and it actually happened to both of my grandparents where they were shipped off. One of them was from the city Krynica and the other one was from Batna, and they were both shipped off and moved into Western Poland and forced to just assimilate and live like the culture of the Polish people. Both of them eventually found a new home in Zielona Góra. They found each other and they still managed to keep the Lemko culture alive. And now we're gonna be eating at a traditional Lemko restaurant called Koczma. It's right across from the Vysova mineral springs. We got some more traditional Lemko food. There's some gołąbki. This is obstruga, fish from the Lemko rivers. This has some Lemko pierogis and a chicken. And this is some haluski with a goulash, and some buraczki come with all the food. My dad got a Lemko beer. What do you think of it?
You can taste lots of barley. Good.
Really cool experience actually eating at that Lemko restaurant. It's kind of like the cuisines are a mixture of Polish, Ukrainian, and Slovakian, so kind of the three regions that it's popular in. And I would say it's definitely worth it because it's also the only restaurant I know in the world that is a traditional Lemko restaurant. So Koczma in Vysova Zdrój is definitely a spot to check out if you want to try some of their cuisine. I'd say the fish, goulash, were A tier, and the holubci and pierogi were B tier. Now I'm trying a popular Lemko treat called the nostipek. It tastes kind of like a big piece of cheese. And now we're at one of the bigger cities here, Krynica, which is kind of like a more popular, more touristy version of Vysova. It has the same type of water here, except it just has like different names, slightly different waters, I guess. But it's all mineral water, and this is just a more touristy, it's a bigger city. There's also more Lemko restaurants here I saw on the way. They're also called Koczma, so you can check those out as well. They're gonna be more expensive here though. Now it's time to try the most popular one here, Zuber. If you want one without the intense mineral taste, then the Słodwianka is probably like the least intense one we've tried so far. The waters here to try are also actually cheaper than the ones in Vysova. These ones are 160 zloty, the ones there were 2 zloty. The water definitely doesn't taste very good at all, but it's a really fun experience to try, and a lot of high profile people, especially in the Austria-Hungary days, have come here for this reason, just to like drink the waters. So in Poland, about 10,500 Lemkos live, and more than 50% of them live in the Polish part of Lemkiewszczyna. Most of them do live in Slovakia though, it's about 60,000, and there's only about 1,000 to 2,000 of them living in Ukraine. A lot of them live around the world as well, places like Canada, UK, US, but it seems like a lot of them have just assimilated and there's not really much of one country there anymore. It's just more everyone kind of lives in their own regions, and there's not like one full region. But let me know what you think of the Lemko people. Have you heard of them before? Any cool facts you may or may not have about them? I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe because it really helps me out, and I'll see you again in the next one.